7D. Quite a bit going on here. Now, it's not complicated. It's just a lot of little features, really a lot of little fillets, little tangent arcs, inverted going the other direction, so on and so forth. Again, definitely good to remember that a fillet is tangent to an arc and or a line, so definitely useful. So Imperial, about 7.5 wide overall, 8 or 9 wide. Height 3.5, about 5 wide. That's probably what I'm going to start with. So I am definitely going to start with these center lines. Now I have one horizontal. I have another two, what I'll call secondary horizontals. I have this primary one here. I have then kind of a couple secondary, and if anything, a couple other secondary or tertiary, whatever you want to call them, doesn't matter. I'm going to start with the primaries, one horizontal, one vertical, to kind of get things started off. So, okay, here we go. Let's see, I'll go ahead and change, and I will do, let's see, this is Imperial, so I'll just start here and I will type over 7 point, no, I'll just make that 10 for now. Zoom in, and then I will do a vertical. I said I'm going to make that about, I'll do 6 for now. Again, not really that important. You can always change it at any time. In this case, now I have, now let me, I'm going to go ahead and do the other, I'm going to do the other hidden center lines. So I'm going to go ahead and copy. Now, how far is this? Well, I'm not totally certain. I can do the math. I can divide it by 2, whatever it may be. Again, I've told you before, I like to do circles. Diameter, where that circle intersects either of those lines, is the location of the other vertical or horizontal center line. So I'll say 3.38, and what that is copy here. Now let me go ahead and show you offset again. It's asking a distance. If you don't know the distance, you can draw it, and this one would be good to say that distance and that same distance there. The next one is, let's get rid of that circle, and let's do, again, diameter 7.5. Now I'm still doing the vertical ones. In this case, I'm just going to copy them. I don't really have enough to where offset would benefit. Again, delete. And then the horizontal, again, I'll do circle diameter of 3.5, and then copy here to here and here. Okay, now, so there are all my center lines. That's pretty busy in itself. And let me go ahead and change this back to by layer for color. Circle, I know, now this being the center one, the only one that exists with these are these two here. So I'll go ahead and do that. It's hard to find. There is not a dimension on this circle. It's actually located on the one over here. So 4x 0.75. And then I have one here, here, and here. Okay, starting to take shape already. I know the larger circles are centered at the intersection of these two. So here, diameter of 2.75, and right click, click, right click. There I have that. Now, entirely up to you if you want to delete these lines. If they're getting a little busy for you, not a problem. Go ahead and delete them. You can always easily, very quickly put them back if you change your mind. Right now, they're not bothering me. So what else do I know is true? Well, the outer frame of what I would consider this as a gasket, that outer line is, they are all arcs. They're either fillets or they are arcs that are concentric to each of these circles. So in that case, again, I'm going to do them as circles. And in this case, since they're arcs, they're asking for a radius. That'll be 1. 1. Now, if you want to do all of these and then go back and trim them, if you want to trim them as you go, again, that's fine, entirely up to you. This, did I click that right? Yes. And this is a 1.12. And then these two here are a 2. Okay. Now, to trim, I'm going to go ahead and use these outer circles as my trimmers. Now, that way I can just kind of select these here. Make sure you don't accidentally select something else. Keep it with these. Now notice I still have that little piece inside of there. Don't care. I can come back and easily erase that later. Right now I'm just wanting to make sure I get these done properly. As such. Okay, now yeah, I've got this little football or whatever that is. I'll just delete that. And I'm pretty good. Now all I have left is the arcs that are fillets, or the inverted arcs. I'll just use the fillet command. And I know the 2 here, which are then also the 2 here down here, are a radius of 1.12. And I will click and click. In this case, it's just as quick to do this as opposed to mirror. And then fillet radius of 0.5 for these here. Looks a little smaller here than it does in the image. That's all right. Make sure I didn't type something wrong. I'll have to double check that. Fillet radius 0.2. I did do it wrong. I mistyped. I should have been paying a little closer attention there. I'm going to put those back on there. I typed them wrong. I figured out the mistake, or someone changed their mind. Let's see what happens. Now, right now, these are not a polyline. They are not they are not connected. They just happen to share endpoints. But I'm going to fill it again. Fix this radius 0.5, not 0.2, and I'll do it again, clicking here and here. So because this is not a polyline, this line is not this arc is not replaced. It's just simply left there, even though these are now filleted elsewhere. So again, I'm going to go ahead and so I don't have to erase each of those, fillet radius 0.5. Pay attention to my dynamic input to make sure I don't mistype it again. Okay, let's see, I've got these, and I believe I am done, with exception to if you want, again, entirely up to you, if you want to modify these to where they're not going out so far. And this really is only for that circle. It shouldn't go out past this, because this is not a center line for any of these features out here. So that is what that center line, it does in the drawing, because they extend for the dimensions, what's called an extension line. So again, you kind of see we're cleaning that up if you want to, entirely if you want to only. So otherwise, we are done.